right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Damage Control. This is Mookie, joined with Dark Beaver, and potentially we may be joined with Delgarn later on. But this is another episode of Damage Control. And today we're going to go ahead and break down, first part of our show, we're going to break down all the current events that's been going on, talk about the new patch update. So we're going to try to condense as much as we can, try to not keep this show too long, but there's a lot to talk about in between, just different updates going on within the game and characters, game modes coming up, the milestone events, things of that nature. So hopefully you enjoy the conversation. And those that will be joining us on Twitch, there'll be a second part of the show. YouTube, there will be a second episode where we break down Cosmic Crucible again, because really it feels this different team compilations of Tangle Webs, what kind of my thorn in the butt is. We'll see what's going on with Darth and what he's facing on his team. So that'll be on episode 2 on YouTube. So stay tuned for that as well. And with that all being said, what's up, Darth? How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, thanks. Good morning, Mookie.
Good morning, man. All right, so let's wind down this music a little bit. So I want to start off with the patch, man. So every time when it's patch day, I get giddy. I get excited about that. And we had a long reset going on. Do you know how long it took between when the game went down? It felt like 3 hours. Was it about?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Luckily for me, on Wednesdays, I'm really busy at that time of day anymore.
Okay.
So I was actually finishing up, thinking, oh, I got to download the patch and things like that and hurry up. But I don't even think you guys were the game was back up by the time I was done with my appointments. So
yeah,
it took an exceptionally long time, but they did a lot this patch. There's a level cap. There's the new legendary characters. There's a brand new saga. There's going to be 2 sagas technically coming out this patch, the Death Saga and the Apocalypse Saga. So they had a lot of stuff to implement into the game this patch. So it's understandable when you're seeing exactly what happened inside game that it took a little longer.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So here's a nice little screenshot or an infographic here from GIICC, and I think they work in conjunctions now with Scopely. So this is just like kind of a brief overview as far as the updates that we're talking about. And the main ones right here at the bottom is like, I guess what caught us off a little bit off guard. It was that level 95. I mean, that was one that just wasn't like pre-talked about, but right as they were working on the patch coming around the horizon, they threw that out, which I'm okay with that. I mean, whenever you see the level cap, I mean, what do you personally get a feel when you hear that, hey, we're getting like a level increase? Do you just feel like, damn, more gold to go somewhere? Or do you get excited to know that now it makes like the new, like the Doom raids a little bit easier as you beef up your roster? Like, what's your initial take on the, level increase?
My initial, the initial take I get is, damn, I don't have any completed teams or characters anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody at max level, and I won't for months, because it'll take me two plus months to get the 5 levels probably. And then I'll have to have characters that I'm now bringing up an extra 5 levels. So, at least it's not like we went to 95 and they went, here's all your past experience. So you're at 95 now and none of your characters can be there. So there's still a wall which makes you level up. So instead of leveling up a character 5 levels, I'll level up 2 or 3 different characters to level 91 every day while I'm at level 91. And then I'll do the same thing with 2 and 3. And so they'll work up slowly. Mm-hmm. But mostly it's that. Mostly it's I like to have big bad teams that crush everything in their path. And it's knowing that at the level I play in Crucible anyway, I'm going to be facing guys that have just a higher level cap than I do. So their character's base level of stats is going to be greater than mine, right off the rip. So that's the only thing I think about at first. But it is cool. I'm happy to take my skill raid characters up to level 95 so that the skill section of Doom raids gets that much easier.
Yeah. No, you kind of hit it. I mean, it felt like I wasn't ready. I hadn't finished my rosters where I want to get at when I got the news, so it felt like, damn. All right. So, but yeah, so that's a big one, as far as, one of the big things, but you kind of hit on some other stuff. I mean, it's not really on here, but we do have sagas coming through with Apocalypse. There's the Save Squad updates, the new campaign chapters, which is also something we'll talk about with the blog post. So that's also on the horizon later on this week. So you're going to see some new campaign chapters opening later. But yeah, and then they talked about upcoming events, 5 years in the making. So I think is it March? I think it's next month, right, where they kind of hit that anniversary date. So there's supposed to be something big. Now, when I hear the news about the anniversary, and I'm really not on the side of like being like salty or being like, I can't even think of the proper word where I'm not like excited. Can't think of it. But it's like, I feel it's like, I hope it's not freaking offers. Like, I hope it's literally something that they're giving to the community on. As far as, I expect them to force us to gameplay something, but we'll have some nice rewards in return for just our activity. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to see a bunch of offers on the store saying like, here we go. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Everybody remembers Thanos giving, but do you remember the Thanksgiving before Thanos giving? I do. It was good. Like their Thanksgiving event was good. The rewards, the free rewards were good, and then the Black Friday sales and things they had were good.
Hmm.
And then we had Thanos giving. So not only was Thanos giving one of the worst events we've ever had, it was in place of one of the best, friendliest, what was supposed to be a holiday gift for everybody that they'd done. Was supposed to, a free gift. Hey, it's a holiday. Here's something for free. And then Black Friday sales on the side. And you see what that's turned into. And I remember anniversary rewards. Here's a really cool package with a few thousand cores and all of this other stuff. Here's a orb with 100 characters released in the last year. Happy 3 or 4 year anniversary. They've been pretty friendly and pretty nice. But Scopely has reached into our pockets so much in the past 2 years, and they've ruined what used to be really friendly free things. They're just taking away now, or they're changing to a part where they're not so much.
Yeah.
So I can't get excited about the anniversary event because of their track record with player-friendly events and what happens over the years of those events and how they continue to not be so player-friendly.
And there you go. And that's where I become
So,
skeptical. And that's the word I
yep,
was looking for.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah. Hopefully, I expect the offers to come through. But you hit it on the nail. I mean, if it's something that's kind of win-win, I mean, there's going to be people that are going to be interested in that. And if it is friendly offers, back to that pre-Thanksgiving, the event that happened before Thanos giving, then that'll be cool. For those that are interested in doing some, I don't know, efficiency buys of
Mind
this.
I don't mind super good sales, but I think there should be free events to go on with it, and it shouldn't all be sale based. It shouldn't be buy your cyber turkeys, so that you can get this Thanksgiving stuff. It should be like, hey, it's Thanksgiving. You guys have been paying us shitloads of money for another year. Here's a little bit of free stuff because we appreciate our player base.
Yeah.
Here's a calendar, here's something with a bunch of good stuff in it. We'll see. They may do it well. Like I said, you get skeptical because, when was the last time you completed an event, Mookie?
Yeah.
Can you remember?
No, I can't remember,
No.
man. It feels like a year.
I can remember I can remember 2 years ago completing every event, spending the same money I am now. And I can't sniff the top 3 or 4 rewards usually. So
Hmm. Well, and not that I had this on the agenda, but since we're talking about stores and things like that, I noticed that there was somewhat of an update too within the new patch that when you go into your store and getting your Friday freebies, they have it right off this initial offer now. They moved it away from the bottom of the power course, and they have them up a little bit closer. I already claimed them, so we can't see it. But really, what I wanted to know is, I don't know if I have it. How do I get into it? I wanted to see if yeah, here we go. So this store, so the other big news that's going on within the game themselves, it's like they're merging or they're taking like this MSF.gg and they're turning it into MarvelStrikeForce.com. So there's going to be an update as far as like the web browser where you're going to find your store and stuff like that. But I guess this is something I was just curious off the top right now because I don't use the store actively. Do you ever go in here and start kind of filtering your rosters and doing anything like that as far as like game management? Do you ever use this?
nope.
No?
I have never done that.
Okay. I was just curious about that because the only time that I would jump into it is like whenever I'm doing something in regards to like our raid lanes and stuff like that, which is really helpful. You can go in here and you can kind of customize, how you want to kind of set up lanes. So it's a cool feature. As you can tell, look, I'm like, what I do. So, but this would be like right here, maps. It's a cool site, and this is where you can kind of fool around and figure out, okay, which raids are we working on that we need to start, you know, figuring out lane assignments and stuff. But there's some other features on the game that I need to start kind of tinkering with. But really, I know if you don't use it as much, and obviously I don't even use it as much. I think there's some benefits off of it. Really, everybody likes looking at the stat tables and kind of figuring out, where the character stats are and stuff. That's usually where I kind of peek over here. But there's stuff that you can kind of build to your roster. There's even ways that you can start having your teams all together here, like your alliance mates, and kind of seeing their progression as they start updating stuff. So I think there's really what I'm getting at. It's more to come on this whole build that they're doing behind the scenes. So just kind of stay tuned, be prepared for it, or just take advantage of it if you're into all of this kind of game management. But there's a lot of stuff apparently that's going to be in the horizon where you can even start kind of roster updating a little bit faster than you can do in the game, stuff like that. So just wanted to bring that out because I know that was some other separate news going on during the week. All right, but let's jump right into the game. So the main thing here that I want to kind of touch on, just kind of get some opinions. So after the patch, we had the big alliance event coming on, that trial of strength. That's the big thing going on. Really, and you had the question. I'm gonna flip it back to you. Pre-recording, Darth. So, what is your thoughts and impressions of Trial of Strength? Do you like this event?
See, I wasn't prepared to answer it when I asked you. Yes,
All right.
yes. Um, but I think you hit on a lot of the reason why when you answered. Because of the type of alliance we're in. We know who we are, and we know what we have, and we know the guys we have, and we know what we're gonna push and what we're not gonna push. And this event was great. It was easy. It was very easy to hit the big piece that everybody needs, the monthly milestone piece. So we cleared that and one or two extra milestones. And I don't, the only thing left on here. So the nice thing about it is, yeah. So we did one extra milestone after the piece. But if you go back up, you can see we've got a day and change left, and we would need another 500,000. So we may hit the next milestone depending on how guys do, where everybody's going to collect one more raid and things like that. So we'll see if we get to the next one. But even that 28's not worth pushing, guys, too. 29 to me is, but now we're looking at, what is that, over 2 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's
2.5.
yeah, that's another day and a half's worth of stuff. And to be honest, we know, because we can see into the future a little bit, that there is a individual event coming up that the Dead Men say are opening gold orbs, just like this one. It's for the Ultron Red Stars. So I can't see asking guys to spend a bunch more gold orbs to get to the milestone that I would personally love at a detriment to their next individual milestone, which individually rewards their hoarding, which they should be rewarded for individually. If you want to slow your account and hoard all your orbs and do everything like that in that way, you should reap the rewards for it. You shouldn't be carrying me along, who spends every gold orb he gets almost as he gets it most of the time. Um, it's not fair to ask them to carry me because I didn't hoard through this, especially at the detriment of their individual that they could do in, let's say, a week or less. So for us, yeah, I liked it. It was easy. We got to the monthly event, and I went, cool. The guys are done being pushed. I'm not going to have to push through this event. I'm not going to have to do anything. I know who we are. We know who we are. And guys know that I don't put extra pressure on anybody in the alliance, especially once we've hit the monthly milestone. So, yeah, I liked it. I wish that maybe the milestones were a little closer. I would have felt. Okay, so here's the part I don't like. It would have felt better if it would have felt achievable, because I hoarded for 7 days. Lots of our friends hoarded for 7 days and collected all of the mail and did everything like that and did extra, especially when they don't want you to hoard. So imagine if we didn't hoard, we'd probably we maybe just barely be getting the monthly milestone event. So I'd like to think that an active alliance like ours could at least get closer to the end than we did with normal high-end raid play. But it is what it is. This is how they do events now. Especially this event. This event more again. So here's something else I don't like about this event. This event is an auction for 7 red star Dormammu and a bunch of T5 ions. Go to the ranking rewards. That's it right there. People are paying ridiculous amounts of money for the offers to get this. And one thing I heard this week that made me think about it a lot, it is pitting the spenders versus the hoarders. Because the spenders never have any gold orbs. And this because the spenders spend. They don't have they open their gold orbs and spend their gold. And the hoarders have hundreds and hundreds of gold orbs saved. So this now pits the hoard against the wallet. And the wallet's gonna win still, but because it's a visual leaderboard, it's not hidden. So the wallet's going to win against any hoarding alliance. But they found a way to make the Krakens compete against the free-to-play in a way for these rewards.
You know what's the math behind all of this, as I'm now already diving deep into this topic, is that normally it is like an individual based type thing, right? Where the Krakens are kind of going against themselves, against the whales and so forth. And it's usually like, I don't know what the true number is, because obviously I'm not behind the scenes in Scopely to kind of pay attention to who are the. I mean, we always want to kind of put Donald Mack's name up on there, right? As one of those people. But it's usually like a group of players. Now you're adding a group of alliances, which is like multiplying that by 24 that you're pushing. And I think that's what this whole event is for them to squeeze money off of it a different way. Is that now we're not going against a group. Now we're getting those group of Krakens on their alliances to get another 24 on top of whatever that number was on the individual base. And yeah, look at that, man. So yeah, Legion's definitely. So now and they put the top 10. So that's what I'm getting at. It's like they're getting 10 times 24, 2004, 2,400 people to really kind of get into this whole spending. But I mean, but now you can see where they're all at, right? Look at that jump between 51. I haven't even looked at this until right now. I'm just looking at the numbers. 51, 34, top 3, right? And then you go to top 10. That's a big drop, man. I mean, you know where they're all grouped in, and it kind of gets into the whole concept of like what you just said. We know what type of alliance we are at. That's who we are, where we're going to be at. And I think it's the same thing over here on Legion, Unity. They know where they're at. So
Exactly.
yeah,
It's the people that are confused with who they are that are going to have a harder time.
God, look at Super Troopers right there.
People
Imagine
that
being on 11th. Like,
yeah, that'll be an interesting race right there. And we'll get to watch part of it because that's Dorky Dad's alliance.
I mean, that's probably what he. And then I think that's where the saltiness comes on. We haven't talked about Dorothy Dad or some of the content creators. And I don't, I kind of like talking about it, but I don't mean to be all public about it, like some of the spats that's going on with, how they feel with others and things like that. But it's just interesting. I think I guess what I'm getting at, when I think about Dorky Dad and getting away from the envoy and stuff, it's just the pressure of trying to be like the face of a community and talking to Scopely and being part of that envoy program. And if he's on the fringe of an alliance like this and where they're pissed off, imagine being that, you imagine if we were in his shoes and that type of alliance environment. And
No. The pressure in that alliance is so much that it would suck every ounce of fun out of it for me.
yeah,
Even if I had inexpendable funds and I could spend everything on the game I wanted, that environment creates zero fun for me. And that's why we foster the environment in our alliance that we do.
yeah.
Because I want to have fun. I want to play with guys I like. I don't want one guy to underperform a little bit and then have the whole alliance attack him in Discord.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, dude. I mean,
I'm not.
that's a crazy drop off on the reward to go from a 6 red to nothing to like
The
promo.
2,000 red promo credits. I bet
Yeah,
that's the
that's
5
good.
red. I bet that's what a 5 red Dormammu costs.
Probably, yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
do you not want 2,000 dark promo credits? Because I tell you right now, I'd rather have my Red Hulk at 6 than a Dormammu at 6, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have a 4 Dormammu, so I don't even know what a 5 Dormammu is. I bet a 6 Dormammu is terrifying.
yeah. we'll see what happens. Well, at least all I know is that we're gonna get some type of dark promos somewhere along the lines. So I'm cool where we're at. I mean, I'm not chasing that aggressively for Dormammu, but anyways, I'll step away from that milestone. It's an interesting one. I mean, like, and to summarize it all, I mean, it's give and take depending on where you're at within your alliances. You either like it or hate it. I mean, that's really a short summary off of it. Anything else? Really, that's the big thing. And then, well, let's talk about what's on the horizon. Then, I'm gonna jump over to. Well, I guess we'll talk about the blog posts here. So, in regards to what's happening, not much. I think it's just more about like really. It feels like every single week, it's like, what are we hoarding? What are we getting ready for? Like, what do we got to start saving on our inbox and preparation in that regard? So, Benny has a good little. I'm just gonna use his infographic here. So when we want to look into the horizon, today is the start of the coordinated assault. Now, Darth, you know what? I don't have it, but let me pull it up. You did something different today, or this past week, as far as preparation. Because, like right here, as we look at it, it's save your ISO energy and your ISO refreshes. And normally, I mean, that's just what you do. You know, you don't hit the refresh after the past coordinated assault finishes up. You just start reloading for the next one, which is usually within the next week or so. But tell me what you did in regards to saving your ISOs this way. Like, look at where you got 6,000 saved. What did you do?
Quit spending ISO energy except for 36 a day. That gets you the daily thing that you have to do in your daily checkoff box that you have to do. And then I bought 4 refreshes a day. I just bought them. At the beginning of it, I bought it because it was during a core spending event. So it was just a few extra cores that were actually going to be worth something to me, you know, hold real value instead of a store refresh or something like that I continually burn cores on. So I spent them on that, and I just did it through the week. And so that's what it looked like after a week. Now I have no refreshes saved. I have no core, no energy refreshes saved. So every refresh I do will be cores. But I think again that's a price I'm willing to pay because I hate this event so much, and I hate it with such a passion, and I hate because we're close. Like we average output exactly the 20,000 a day that you need to get the 140,000 by the end of the event. And it's close, and I hate having to check it that morning and be like, all right, guys, we got 8 hours left. Get in and spend your ISO energy, you know. And I'm hoping that this, which didn't negatively affect my account in any way, and seemed to be very easy to do, will make it that much easier, like on the last day. So if we completed this on day 6 instead of day 7, or we're so close to completing it on day 6 instead of day 7, then I could, you know, I just want to relax for it. I hate looking at a timer and being like, all right, now I need to look at which of my guys maybe I need to poke at a little bit because there's a stupid visual leaderboard and I can see what each individual member has done. And for us, it's stupid because I don't want to place blame on a guy. I don't want everybody in the alliance to be like, this is the guy we're not getting rewards for. Because you know what? Maybe that guy's had to work overtime that day. Maybe that guy's kids got sick. There's 1,000 reasons for guys to not play this game that are way better than playing this game. So we try to be super understanding of guys in their real lives and that they are husbands and fathers and things like that, and they have a real life to take care of. So the less I have to think about bugging one of those dudes makes me happier. And if I can play my game a little harder to make that happen, that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a cool little setup that you got going on this week as far as your saving of it. So just like you said, you've been basically hitting the refreshes but not using them. So you've been hitting it that way. You probably cap off yourself at 120, right, or something. Is how you've been spending it. Whereas on the other side of things, I got these all loaded up and ready. So I'm at 500 over 500, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll show y'all the differences on our little alliance leaderboard as we go through it. So just like the Merc was asking what alliance we are, the alliance that we're at is called Damage, which is kind of where our little title of our show, Damage Control, comes into. So that's where we're at. Let's jump back over here to this. So that's the big one. So that's what's coming up. Finally, we get to unload that. I'm sure you're excited to start using up that energy there. And then, of course, we got the Blitz. Now, the Blitz is coming up on this Monday. You want to be mindful about also saving on the, what is it called? The Blitz? Is it the Blitz charges? So if I skip down a little bit to the Destructive Diva section right here, this one right here is going to be like the next milestone event, which comes up on Monday, tomorrow. And it's, this is a 3-day event fitting into the February monthly one. You will progress by earning Blitz credits and event orb fragments from select campaign nodes, save energy refreshes, power cores, Blitz charges, and milestones from the two Blitz or Blitzes. Consider not claiming the Blitz credit milestone from Stylist Subterfuge, if I said it right, Subterfuge.
Subterfuge.
Yeah, this is a gamble. So you got to be real time. You got to look at the clock. I mean, the bottom line is once the Blitz starts rolling out here pretty soon, because I think we're dying down if I go in game, really what I'm breaking down here. This one ends in 6 hours. I want to say the next one that comes up, is it going to be like where we get the two separate ones?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when the two separate ones come out there, try not to hit the milestone collection. Just kind of look at what time that you have and coordinate it to when the event comes up. But do what you want. If you don't want to chance anything and collect it, there's nothing wrong with that. Because there will be another Blitz right after that. That you can get the other milestone collections for. So, and then the next one, just Destructive Diva event. This is going to be on Thursday. So it's Absorberman Unlock. So Absorberman comes through into the game as far as for those free to play. His event comes up and it says this focuses on spinning cores and battling in war and raids. So save your power cores, raid energy, and war refreshes. So that one's always interesting. We're again going back to alliance base. I know I feel bad for like mobile and all those other whaley alliances that especially are really into war. They have to battle each other as far as like normally they clear each other, like whoever their opponents are in those particular leagues. They only do like 10 battles is usually like their average. And they can't use the whole 14. And those that start getting uber aggressive will start getting into their 12th, 13th attack. And those that are sitting on 10 probably don't even hit 10 sometimes. So that's interesting as far as, again, that's internal fighting going on. But our alliance doesn't even wake up to go and to start battling. We're real slow at the get-go.
Hence, it appears war refreshes, though,
Yeah.
which is good for those alliances because then they can they purchase the refreshes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's probably a better way to do it for those big alliances that constantly full clear early.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would help. All right. But that's coming up on Thursday. And then, of course, the Red Hulk event's coming through. I think this might be his third one, right? So I think what's happening within the sagas is that they're getting like 3 runs from each of the Horseman characters. So we're inching closer, getting into Apocalypse. But so he's coming back up on Friday. And then, of course, towards the end of the week, it's just kind of the next like quick rumble with your War Dogs being the feature team. And then you got your flash events, the Nowhere Heist and the Relic happening also on Friday. And that's just kind of the main kind of hits right there. It's just those 2 milestone events as far as saving up for your Absorberman and the Destructive Diva event. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up this part of the show because I'm kind of itching to kind of talk about the Cosmic Crucible set of stuff. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do next here, live on Twitch. For those, again, and I never talk about the time that we come on, but typically we're early birds. We're part of the coffee crew here. So Sunday mornings, if those that are ever interested to catch us on figuring out when it is that we jump onto Twitch, it's Sunday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. So sorry for the West Coast. If you're diehard like Darth, man, Darth is up 2 hours. He's up at 5:30 for this. So I appreciate you doing that, Darth. but yeah, that's where we'll be, and that's where we're at right now. So YouTubers, y'all take it easy. That'll be the end of this show. Stay tuned for Cosmic Crucible gameplay. That'll be uploaded next, and y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.